Hey everybody, it's Chris again. I know I posted an update video about a week ago, and was planning to do another video or two about some of the things I mentioned in it, but I have to make a different kind of video tonight because I had a unfortunate turn of events in the last week that have become more of a priority to elaborate on than some of the other topics I had previously mentioned. I'll be quick to the point. This weekend I was hospitalized, and it turns out I have a new tumor in my brain that most likely has been growing all summer while I was going through chemo. And some might ask how is that possible? But my understanding is chemo does not penetrate the blood-brain barrier. So brain tumors are, at least metastasized from testicular cancer, are treated conventionally in a different way than pushing chemo onto it. Now, what was happening was late last week I started to have develop some issues with my right hand. Just to demonstrate, all the normal functions of my good hand are all there still. My right hand started to lose mobility. I play bass, obviously. So most of you know that, and I couldn't play it. I came home one night, I think Thursday, and my hands were just, my right hand was more like a paw. I have no strength in it. I don't have any articulation. I can't move my fingers very far individually. This is about all I got. These fingers want to kind of bunch up together. I can make a fist still. They all sort of behave in unison, but I can't hold a pen. I can't write. I can't really type with this hand. As I mentioned, I can't play my instruments at this point. So I called my oncologist on Friday to share the development in my hand, and she was not easy to reach. I got a call back from a nurse who told me to I think they misunderstood my message at first, and thought maybe this was an ongoing issue, and but if it was new, if these were new symptoms, that I should go to the ER. So that's what I did Saturday. I thought I had neuropathy, which is a common side effect after chemo, where there can be nerve damage and you experience pain in your extremities, tingling, numbing, things along those lines. But I didn't have tingling or numbing or really even pain. I just had dysfunction really quick. Day one, day two, it was really worsening quick. It all of a sudden, I'm right-handed, so my dominant hand was not working anymore. I could still, kind of grab onto things, but I can drop things very easily as well. So I'm having a hard time with opening bottles, obviously buttoning shirts, or pretty much wearing slip-on shoes at this point, no matter what. Anyways, I went to the hospital, told them what was going on, explained what I'd been through all summer with the chemo. I was given a CAT scan that evening, Saturday evening. And then I saw a doctor. She came into my room and said, you know, it's probably not neuropathy because you would most likely be experiencing it in both of your arms, not just one. And in that initial scan, there was some swelling showing up on my brain towards the back, but nobody told me yet there was a tumor. They wanted to keep me overnight though and get me into an MRI in the morning. So, I agreed to stay. A lot of a hospital isn't a place where you can get much sleep. I probably got 2 hours. By 4 a.m., they were doing blood labs on me, vitals, bringing food in at like 6 in the morning. I had 4 different people from the kitchen asking me questions about what to eat. So it just brought my mind back to when I was inpatient early on in chemo, and I couldn't get a goddamn hour of sleep at those places, and it's really annoying. So I had an MRI done and a second CAT scan. I don't know why I did a second one. It had, on my brain, both of those scans. And then I had to wait around for a few hours in my room. Finally, a doctor came in and saw me. I've never met this gentleman. He wasn't an oncologist. I can't remember his specialty. But he started asking me all these questions and about my treatment so far and where was I at with my doctors that I normally see. And I basically told him, I was on sort of a 3-month watch at this point, and depending on what was found in December, we'd move from there as far as my lung goes. So, he kind of put his serious face on and told me, well, we found a tumor in your brain. And I didn't have any images to look at. He didn't show me that, but he drew it on my sheet on my bed and, pointed out where it was, and that left, tumor is correlating with my right arm, the functionality of it, and my hand specifically. He did mention, the best spin he could put on it is it's called a superficial tumor, meaning it's on the surface of my brain. If it's to be cut out, it doesn't need to be, my brain doesn't need to be dug into. It's on the top, kind of accessible. And and that there was only one tumor. So what he couldn't tell me is that my hand could be saved. He says it's possible that it will always have that problem from here on out. But it's also entirely possible it won't. It can heal. Once this pressure is off that spot on my brain, it'll quit screwing with the signals down my arm. And then if it did come back, he couldn't tell me how long something like that would take. So I have a lot of, things to think about there. My attitude is to get, if I get this thing cut out, which seems like it's kind of a priority, a time sensitive issue, I could, I'll see how my hand's doing after that. And, or I'll just commit to some kind of therapy, physical therapy, whatever. I didn't work this hard fighting this cancer this long to lose my ability to, do all the things that I love that make, my life seem much more tolerable to me, which is to do art. I've been drawing and painting since I was in diapers, and when I was 14 or so is when I became obsessed with bass, and I've never stopped. And it's just been a key, to open a door into a world of creativity that I've never gotten tired of, and still have a lot of unfinished business doing. So I'm really motivated to get this sorted out. Beyond this surgery, they want to most likely do some local radiation in the spot. And there's also, the oncologist I met at the hospital this weekend told me that I need to consider strongly going through something called high dose chemo, which I'd never heard of. I mean, I just went through chemo all summer. And he says, no, it ain't like that. And basically, you're going to get hit way harder. But prior to the dosages, you have your stem cells from your red blood cells farmed out of you for a couple days. They hit you with this chemo, and then they transfuse your stem cells back into your body to help keep your counts at a spot that makes this process possible. It sounds brutal. I'm not really into it. After what I went through already, it just seems, beyond brutal. But I think I got to think about this brain situation first, and move on from there. My doctor, I saw my oncologist today, my regular one, and she was visibly taken, or what's the way to put it? Her confidence level was clearly diminished on my situation, because it looks like now just about everything that I'd have to do would be out of her hands. I'm going to see a neurosurgeon Thursday. And then if I do pursue this high dose chemo process, I'd probably be referred to Cedars-Sinai or UCLA or somewhere, one of these bigger schools in LA. So she mentioned putting me through some chemo in the meantime to, quote, calm things down. And I told her, the surgeon didn't want to see me until December. My lung actually looked like it was a centimeter smaller on the scans from this weekend. It was at 7, and now it was at 6. So she was basically saying she didn't know what order to do anything in at this point, and she needed to talk to some experts. So I'm losing a little faith in that area that I've been getting my care from. I don't like the confusion. I've been doing all these things that I've been told to do, and it's not particularly working. And I don't want to be this statistic that got, wiped out by the so-called treatment. I've always been conflicted about this. And anyways, I'm beyond all that nonsense. I am going to begin I don't want to say cure, because I don't think it's the right time to say that, but I'm going to, I mentioned in my previous video, I'm doing a suppository CBD THC 1-to-1 ratio suppository. But I'm going to start in the next couple days on what are way higher dosages that, if you look up Rick Simpson oil, or I think Phoenix Tears online, it's the dosages recommended if you really want to kill cancer in your body, not just a way for me to manage the side effects I was getting from chemo. So it's every 4 days, the dosage I'll be taking will go up. And by the end of the 30 days, I think you're at like 3,000 milligrams of THC/CBD in your body. It's a lot. And for brain tumors, it's likely I'll start orally taking some THC each day, as it seems to have more of a direct approach to the brain. I didn't mention in the last video that when you do a suppository of this sort, it bypasses your liver and you don't have any psychoactive reaction to it. And a lot of people don't know that, and they think, well, I don't want to be high all day. And I never was. I went through all of the chemo with a lot of relief taking it, but never stuck in my own mind over analyzing everything, because that would have been hard for me. I have no problem with marijuana. Like, I think each day it proves something new to all of us, honestly, with what's going on in the cancer world particularly. But going through chemo, I didn't want to have that intense magnifying glass over my dilemma. So it was nice to just take that suppository without the high part. But at this point, I'm willing to also be stoned off my ass for a month if that's what it takes. If I see changes here, I'm gonna definitely do it. I got nothing to lose, really, and I don't think that I would even be eligible to get into this high dose chemo process for many weeks. My oncologist told me she'd have to put in the recommendation for me, and it's a long wait. So the surgery I'm more up for, even though I'm not crazy about it. If they can get this thing out of my brain promptly, it might save my hand. The radiation, I asked if it would be full brain or targeted, and she mentioned it would most likely be a targeted one, but things can change fast. I'll see this neurosurgeon Thursday and ask a lot of questions about what I should expect. So it's been pretty shitty. I didn't think I'd be making this video. When I posted my last one, I was feeling a bit more optimistic, and all of a sudden this shit landed in my lap, and what am I gonna do? I still got my boots on, waiting for me over there. I never really put them away, so time to gear up, I guess, and get back to fucking work here. I'll try to be, as long as I'm up for it, I'll try to keep you guys posted. I really appreciate the feedback I got with the last one. I know I disappeared for a long time, so I felt I should have spoken up finally, and here I am talking again, but not about what I wanted to be talking about. So I don't know. I'll keep everybody posted. My hand is on my mind a lot, even though I want to obviously save my life. This hand is a big part of the things that make me enjoy my life, and I know it could be worse, but I'm going to fight for what I can. So this is what I got to say to this cancer right now. If I can pull this off. All right. Fuck off, you fucking shitty ass fucking cancer. Get out.